Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we need to start our in-depth look at the rotation by going through all the cards we lose from the Sun and Moon expansion. When I did my video about the rotation yesterday, I promised you a video on each of the sets that's rotating out. Sun and Moon is chronologically the earliest one rotating out, so it makes sense that we would start there. Yes, I know I've already done 3 new reveals today. I'm sorry, but when there's a whole bunch of new cards and a rotation happening, Wassie's going to step up the videos, ladies and gentlemen. Wassie's going to step them up. Want to watch them now? Cool, join in. If you don't, awesome. Save them for later. Give yourself a little bit of a treat. So, Sun and Moon then. As always, we're going to be going through the same 3 categories. Big losses, you used to be cool, and you had potential, before finishing with the trainers. So starting off with the big losses then, we're losing Solgaleo GX. Now admittedly this one is not the biggest loss ever, but it was played with the newer Solgaleo, which is pretty good. It was good in Metagross decks. It's got a good GX attack to accelerate energy, an ability that's a switch. And of course a big attack that does 230. It will be missed. We are losing Vikavolt. Vikavolt accelerates 1 grass, 1 lightning energy. It was really good with Tapu Bulu, and it was really good more recently with Rayquaza. It was an option for accelerating energy, and now we don't have it anymore. We're losing Alolan Muck. Turns off basic abilities. It was really good ability lock, and because Ditto Prism Star was a thing, sometimes you'd see a 1-1 line of Alolan Muck, sometimes you literally just see one Alolan Muck because people were playing Ditto. We're losing the Energy Evolution Eevee. Yes, it's a McDonald's promo. No, it's not staying in the format. They changed the rules. This allowed you to attach a basic energy and immediately evolve. It's the reason Espeon was good. It's the reason Sylveon was good. It's the reason Glaceon was good. They're all significantly worse. Not to mention Jolteon seeing a lot of play right now, and it just got an awful lot worse. We are losing Herdia. Now, admittedly, Herdia isn't the biggest loss, but it is a very good card in the expanded format. Lets you get an item back. It's really good for, just those disruption decks like Raichu. To be fair, we're keeping it in expanded, but, it's not in standard anymore. We are losing Oranguru. Lets you draw until you've got 3 cards in hand. And sure, we've got stuff like Zebstrika and Pidgeotto, but they're stage 1s. In terms of basic Pokemon that just sit on the bench and add consistency, we don't have anything like Oranguru, and it really sucks that we're losing it, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna be honest with you, it sucks that we're losing it. We are losing Double Colorless Energy. A card which has been in the format continuously for a decade, near enough, is gone. There's a million different Pokemon that are going to miss this, but you see stuff like Zoroark that are just not as good as they were. I can't list them all out, but suffice to say, it's a sad day. We are losing Timer Ball that searches for evolutions. We are losing Nest Ball that searches for basic Pokemon. And we are losing Ultra Ball that searches for any Pokemon. The suite of things we have to search for Pokemon now are frankly poor in comparison. If you are a Psychic or Dragon Pokemon, we still got Mysterious Treasure and that's lovely. Otherwise, your best option now is Pokemon Communication. That is not a good thing. In terms of Pokemon that used to be cool, these are Pokemon that saw a bunch of play but just dropped off. Decidueye drops 2 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon. It was really good with Vileplume initially, but it also saw a whole bunch of play in a whole bunch of decks. Yeah, Forest of Giant Plants going away hurt it, but this was a good Pokemon in a lot of decks. We're losing Espeon GX. There was a time where with Garbodor, it was basically the best deck in the format. It was 75% of the top 32 and 75% of the top 8 in Seattle. It's not as good as it used to be, but it ruled the format, ladies and gentlemen. We're losing Lurantis GX, which was good for about 5 minutes when it was initially released. Everybody thought it was going to be amazing because it could accelerate energy while doing damage, and it just never turned out to be that good. We're losing Lapras. Now, Lapras is a weird one because it started off being really good, and it had stuff like Max Elixir and Aqua Patch. And then it went away, and then it came back, and then it went away again. But the reality is, it just can't stand up to big one-hit KO decks. It's as simple as that. We're losing Persimmon, another Pokemon which cycled in and out of the format for a little while. It was really good, and then it didn't hit hard enough. And then Zoroark took over, and it came back. And now it's gone again. It's not been good for a little while, though it does pop up in tournaments here and there. But make no mistake about it, it is a very good Pokemon that really did have a lot of success. Umbreon did not see as much success as Espeon, but firstly, it top cut a couple of times at the International Championships. And secondly, it was played with Houndoom. It was basically a bit of a mill deck. Yeah, the attack was quite nice, doing damage to the active and to the bench, but the real selling point of this was a GX attack that discarded energy. It could hit and run, but it was a GX attack. We're losing Tauros GX. This was hyped quite a bit when it first came out. It's the ultimate revenge Pokemon. If you don't KO it, it comes back. GX attack does 3 times the amount of damage as is on it. It looked so good, and it saw quite a bit of play with Drampa and things like that, and then it just went away because there were too many things that could KO it, and it had a bad weakness. And we're losing Gumshoos GX, a Pokemon that I thought had so much potential, and it saw a bit of play in the early days. Let you look at your opponent's hand once per turn, GX attack that punishes your opponent for stacking on energy. It was so good. But it never really saw a huge amount of play after the first couple of months. Although, again, it was in those energy denial decks, because what you would do is try and pile energy onto one Pokemon, so you could then punish them with Gumshoos. In terms of the Pokemon that had potential, these were never particularly good, but they looked like they should have been. And really, there's 3 I'm looking at here. Incineroar GX. And look, it won a League Cup. It won a few League Cups. It won tournaments here or there. But when this came out, we had Skyfield. That meant that with a field full of fire Pokemon, you could do 170 damage for a single energy and then start abusing Max Potion. There are very few Pokemon I've tried to make work more than this. It never did. We're losing Lunala GX. It can move energy around. It gets a one-hit KO on a basic non-GX. It looked so good. Didn't really see any play. And we are losing Golduck. People tried using Golduck. I saw it at a bunch of tournaments. Golduck for a single water energy. You discard 2 water energy cards from your hand. 60 damage for each one discarded. And you would combine that with a Starmie from Evolution to put 2 water energy from the discard pile into your hand. So you could do 120 for a single energy on a non-GX every turn. It was just never good enough. And so we need to finish having a little bit of a look at the trainer cards here, seeing which ones have been reprinted and which ones haven't. Crushing Hammer is not going away because it received a secret rare reprint in Ultra Prism. And remember the rule, as long as we have one legal version, they're all legal, so you don't have to have the secret rare, you can use any regular one. We are losing energy retrieval. That's the best way to get energy back from the discard pile to your hand. That's a bit of an issue. We are not losing Energy Switch because it was reprinted in Celestial Storm. We're losing EXP Share, which was really nice to conserve your energy when Pokemon got KO'd. This saw quite a bit of play. We are losing Great Ball. It was reprinted in Shining Legends, but that's also rotating out, so that's kind of irrelevant. How is staying around? It's not a particularly great card, but some people do play it. It's staying around because it got reprinted in Celestial Storm. Similarly, Lily got reprinted in Ultra Prism, which is huge because Lily sees a whole bunch of play. Along with Cynthia, it is the best draw card in the format at the moment. They are the 2 that people use. Lima is going away. Fun draw card, but nobody ever really played it. We're losing Poison Barb. It was nice to poison Pokemon that attacked you, and it did see a bit of play. Carl Peters won a tournament using this, but it really was few and far between. We're losing Pokeball. Now, it was flip a coin search for a Pokemon if it was a head. It wasn't a good card, but we've had Pokeball forever, and now it's gone. We'll get it back sooner or later. We're losing Pokemon Catcher that we've had since Emerging Powers, although to be fair, when it was revealed and first released, in fact, you didn't have to have a coin flip. Since you did, it hasn't seen as much play, but with Guzma rotating out, losing this as well is actually really quite sad. We're losing Potion, which might not sound like a big deal, but Celebi and Venusaur are playing these, and it's just a nice, reliable healing card. We're losing Professor Kukui, 20 extra damage, draw 2 cards. This has seen a lot of play, and I could arguably have put this in my big losses column. This is a card that a bunch of people are going to wish wasn't rotating. We're losing Repel, forces your opponent to switch their active, but we're also losing Escape Rope here. So this might be a bigger loss than some people realise, especially given that we're losing Guzma as well. Switching your opponent's active is an awful lot harder than it used to be. We are losing Rotom Dex. Now, Rotom Dex hasn't seen a huge amount of play, but it lets you switch up your prize cards. And if you're really trying to play something like Jirachi Prism Star, where you need to get out your prizes, but it's not in your prizes, this is pretty good. Not to mention, if you've got really bad prizes, this would let you rejig them. We're not losing Switch because it was reprinted in Celestial Storm. We're not losing Rainbow Energy because it was reprinted in Celestial Storm. And we are losing Team Skull Grunt, which discards energy from your opponent's hand. This is another card which was really good in all of those decks that were aiming for disruption, and there are a bunch of people that like disruption decks, which will be a little bit sad. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news from the Sun and Moon expansion. Tell me in the comment section which cards you are going to be missing, and if there's a card I didn't mention that you think I should, chuck it down there as well. Go nuts, ladies and gentlemen, but please do remember the rule. Be nice, would ya? And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WasseyPlays, where we talk about other games and have a lot of fun. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.